From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
I want to thank you for being here this afternoon to hear what I think will be a very interesting presentation. I'm Chris Murphy. I'm the head of the Near East section, one of the three here in the African Middle Eastern division. The other two sections are the African section, whose staff is responsible for developing the collection focusing on sub-Saharan Africa. The Hebraic section, which is responsible for developing the collection of Hebraica and Judaica worldwide. And then the Near East section, of which I said I'm head, is responsible for developing the collection from and about all of the Arab countries, Iran, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, the Turkic countries of Central Asia, the countries of the North Caucasus, and Turkey, as well as the Muslim societies in Western China, in Russia, and the Balkans. So you see the Near East is very broadly defined here at the library. The section itself holds about 480,000 volumes in the local languages of the Near East. Approximately one half are in Arabic. Now, again, I want to extend my welcome, and also on behalf of our chief, Mary Jane Deeb, the welcome of the division to you. Today's presenter, Dr. Nayel Shafei, has a very, very distinguished career. He holds a Ph.D. in computer sciences from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, and his undergraduate work was done in Cairo. He's had a number of very responsible positions in the world of communications, including, he was Executive Vice President of Quest Communications for Development and oversaw the creation of a very, very large network. He has been instrumental in introducing broadband network to various companies, but his real love is Marefa, an online open source Arabic language dictionary, which Encyclopedia, yes, excuse me, Encyclopedia. And it quite likely is one of the largest content, if not the largest Arabic language content single source that there is. And without further ado, Dr. Shafei.
Thank you. Hi, it's really a great honor for me to be here. Thank you really for letting me come in. I would like to talk with you about Marefa. Marefa is an encyclopedia that I created in 2007. www.marefa.org. Before I talk about it, let me give you just a snapshot of one incident. In about February 2010, I found many college-age kids from Syria getting into this website and showing some interest in developing articles about, technical articles about medicine, pharmacology, engineering. All they are college kids from Syria. Syria has a very interesting distinction from the rest of the Arab world. It's the only country in the Arab world that teaches all subjects in Arabic. So because of that, and since we have this encyclopedia all in Arabic, I became very interested in them as well. So I was interested in that, and I went and I visited them in Damascus in summer of 2010. first time in Damascus, lovely country, lovely place and everything, but just it's like there's a time warp that just I recognize. I'm originally from Egypt. I recognized right away when I saw there the biggest square in Damascus. They have a big advertisement for a company that an Egyptian company for tires that disappeared, went bankrupt 40 years ago, and still the advertisement's still there. So I think that summarizes the whole thing there. Nevertheless, the people are always lovely, and just the kids were so enthusiastic. In less than 6 months, we found ourselves there that just this project, we created a small project within Marefa. They called it Wikisyria. That Wikisyria, that just in 6 months, it reached 1,200 students in 6 universities, editing about 4,000 articles, mostly in medicine, pharmacology, engineering, and economics. Everything was great until we started noticing some people coming and joining those kids, older people in their 40s and 50s. And they are exerting some control upon them. And they started saying, don't think that everything here that you should write should be only about science. You have to write also about religion. I said, there's no problem. Write about whatever you want, but this is an encyclopedia at the end. Make sure that just whatever you write is encyclopedic. Said, okay. After a while, they came back again. Oh, by the way, we don't like that you have articles about Darwin and evolution. Take them out. No, we're not. You have to take them out, or otherwise we'll take the kids away. So, who are you? Not clear at all, but just they exert lots of effort there. And that was 2010, summer of 2010. Then I had a big problem in my own personal introduction of myself. I said that I like Thomas Malthus, about the demographer, and just make a couple of notes about him there. And said, oh, Malthus, he's an atheist. Why is that? Just because he's talking about just demographics and all this kind of stuff? So take out that article as well. No, I'm not. So anyhow, the project ended. The kids completely disappeared overnight. Few months later, oh, by the way, not only that, they said, oh, so you are one of those secular people like, what's his name? Couple of names who got assassinated. So anyhow, I cut all ties, and just a few months later on, we saw all the havoc that erupted there. But I'm just giving you this snapshot here about what Marefa is about. Why someone with a Ph.D. in computer science from MIT be interested in something like that? That just, after all, we do things just for some goal in life. My goal in life, the place where the culture that I grew up in, I need to go and just to see it as best as it can be. And if there is something that I see that it's wrong with the culture currently, that it's not integrated in the human march towards progress. How do I see a solution for that? It's by participation in the global civilization. What do we input into the civilization? That's the most important thing. So I'm trying to open up the ideas for people to see what's going on around them in the world. The world is not only the street that you live in. So, because of that, Marefa, I'm going to discuss quickly here what's Marefa, what kind of content, traffic statistics, sister projects, books and manuscripts, sites hosted, webinar, research, future directions. We see that Marefa is a cultural space aimed at rejuvenating the Arabic culture by creating and disseminating digital Arabic content. It was founded in February 17th, 2007, owned by Marefa Foundation, a New Jersey not-for-profit organization. I have, as I mentioned, I have my own company for fiber optics. My life, my work is in fiber optics. I make money in fiber optics. I spend it on Marefa. So you hear lots of projects about culture and all this kind of stuff sponsored by His Majesty King so-and-so or His Excellency President so-and-so. No, this project here is sponsored, funded only by His Majesty and His Excellency Nayel Shafei. So, and by the way, over the last 6 years, I can list for you at least 6 or 7 of those national projects all over the Arab world launched to go and just for Arabic digital content. None of them exists today. But that's okay. That's why really it needed some personal commitment. So I built a team and just I put it and spending on it. Marefa now is about 100,000, it's exactly 99,000 some real articles, 400,000 images, 2.5 million manuscript pages. We believe it is the largest encyclopedia in size in Arabic in the world, printed or online. It's open for free, 1.5 million visitors a month. They download 250,000 book copies a month. All of those books, by the way, none of them has any issues with copyright. And we'll talk about that. Recognition, University of North Carolina chose it as one of the best 7 websites for Arabic manuscripts, along with Al-Azhar and Topkapi. Government of India chose Marefa to publish the Arabic manuscripts and books it has. Sister projects, in addition to the encyclopedia, we found that we have mail, video library, interactive video, webinars. We offer them, we encourage you to attend them every Sunday in lively discussions, blogs, forums, sources, and collaborative books. But we also, since we have the infrastructure, we started offering it to new projects that we feel that they are in the same direction that we are in. So we are hosting, for example, Majallat al-Ulum, the magazine of science, which is the Arabic version or translation of Scientific American. It's published in Kuwait, and believe it or not, the Kuwaiti government has some problem in funding it recently. They are not interested in it anymore. So we offered a website hosting for them. Alwan for the Arts in New York City, Egyptian Society of Historic Studies, which is established in 1934, the Arab Higher Institute for Translation, which is under the Arab League, and it's in Algiers. Again, also, we are hosting them for free. Sharqname, it's the only publication in Arabic specialized in Turkish and Iranian studies. Girl Geek Society in Damascus. This is an international organization everywhere to promote sciences for the girls. We also have it there. And many more. As I mentioned, this is the content that we have here. And it's open and for free. And as you will see, we have no interest in advertisement or anything, or income or anything. His Majesty takes care of it. Traffic statistics. We have about 1.5 million visitors a month, and they download 250,000 book copies a month. That's according to Google Analytics and PWIC. Alexa traffic ranking, we hover between 10,000 and 20,000. Marefa audience tends to be 60% women, 70% college educated, upper middle class. That's according to Alexa. What I'm really happy about here, that just the largest 3 countries that we get visitors from, they keep always changing the 3 top countries. Algeria, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and they keep always fluctuating, which is quite happy with that. That means that we are not really focusing on one specific country rather than the rest. Sister projects, mentioned them before. We have also, in addition to what I mentioned, we have research into semantic web, which is very important to go and this is the future wave of search engines, that to know the context of what the person is searching for. So if he's searching for something with another word, so that will give you it. The search engine should go and just have better clue about what you are interested in getting. Machine translation, the gap is widening day and day. Every day it's widening further between the Arabic culture and the rest of the world. It's impossible to catch up by human translation. Machine translation is really crucial for that. Arabic civilization will not catch up, will never catch up without real serious effort in machine translation. So because of that, we started a project with the the Arab Institute for Translation in Algiers, and we put a curriculum for master's degree for machine translation in collaboration with University of Strasbourg in France. And we got 2 classes graduated from that, people having master's degree in machine translation technology applied to Arabic language. And we see that people from them already started working with Adobe in Silicon Valley for translation. Books and manuscripts. In addition to the largest corpora that I mentioned in Arabic, we take pride really of that we have 25,000 books in Arabic, mostly from Hyderabad, India, from Maktaba al-Uthmaniyya in Hyderabad, India, and 13,000 books in Farsi, 2,000 manuscripts from Dakhla Oasis in Egypt, and those are from the Columbia University. They have a major project about that, and it's amazing project that by itself. It's a cut through the history, the social history of that region from the 3rd century BC all the way to the 8th century AD. In Demotic, Coptic, Greek, Arabic language, we have 8,000 manuscripts in Shawarjin. Shawarjin is Chinese written in Arabic language. It's similar to Pinyin these days, that they write Chinese in Latin letters. Back from the 14th century up to the 18th century, they used to write Chinese in Arabic letters, especially in the Yuan dynasty. All the information, the records of the Yuan dynasty, the court records, are written in Shawarjin. The Shawarjin, the problem with it currently now, you have to have 2 people, one who can read Chinese, speak out Chinese, and one sitting next to him, one reading Arabic and one who understands Chinese sitting next to him to tell him what does it mean. But of course, the we people can understand that as well up until today. Those are the kind of projects. How did we end up with the 25,000 books in Arabic? That's a very short, interesting story here. I'm a computer scientist and from MIT. There's one small, tiny school that we don't like in Pennsylvania called Carnegie Mellon. And that Carnegie Mellon, the dean of it is Raj Reddy, very good friend of mine. And Professor Reddy, he called me. We contact each other we know each other for more than 25 years. So one day he called me and he said, Nayel, we have a problem here. You understand Arabic? I said, yes, we understand Arabic. And he said, okay, he has this project to go as part of the Million Book Project. You probably understand that Library of Congress as well is part of that project there. He said, we have those books, and those books, we have some books that they went and scanning all the books in all libraries in all over every village in India. And when they came to Hyderabad, they found that they have 25,000 books written in Arabic. And they don't understand it anymore. Hyderabad, Nizam of Hyderabad, which was the state, the regime that was ruling Hyderabad all until 1949, 1947, it was using Arabic as a formal language there. And it was a very central part of the Arabic culture up until that time. After that, that stopped. So nobody knows Arabic anymore. So people in India, they thought that where is the best place to go and give them a gift of those 25,000 books? So they started thinking about what are the advanced libraries around the Arab world. Who may know that? I don't need to mention a name here, but just anyhow, they went to that new fancy building library in Egypt, and they told them, okay, would like to give you 25,000 books as a gift. And the people, the Egyptians came and said, oh yeah, sure. You have to pay us 25 cents per page to accept the gift. So the guy said, yeah, we're not gonna do that. So here comes the head of that project, is Raj Reddy. So Raj called me and said that, what can I do? Who else should I give it to? So I told him, easy, give it to me. Said, you? Said, yes. I said, okay, and how much do you want? He said, nothing. I told him, you told me that those are out of copyright. He said, yes. I said, okay, give it to me. I said, what are you going to do with them? I'll publish them. So I took them and put them online. As simple as that. We have them. We are stuck with about 13,000 books in Farsi. We have nobody who reads Farsi. And the same thing, we have also some books in Othmani Turkish. Also, we don't have anybody do that yet. Sites hosted, mentioned that. We try to promote a real change. Webinars, similar to this nice event that you guys host here. We have webinars since April 5th, 2009. Those are just samples of some of the activities there. We started talking about the population threat or danger that's in the region before the Arab Spring brings. Arabian Nights by Professor Mohsen Moussawi from Columbia University. The late Rushdie Saeed talked about the Nile Basin initiative. Helmi Sha'rawi talked about Obama's speech in Accra. Where's Abdullahi? Abdullahi, you should talk to this guy. He has lots of books you have to get in touch with. And yeah, he would like really somebody to take care of those huge collection of books. Greater Somalia, that was by Yusuf Abukar. Southern Movement, or Harak al-Ganubi, in southern Yemen. Presidential election in Iran. Just sample of things. Research. What do we do for we're conducting research for Semantic Web for better search and machine translation, as I mentioned, and we use the two standard platforms used by the European Union or developed by the European Union. They are called Giza and Moses. Those are the two. Those are not my names. They chose the names. Future directions, open courseware in collaboration with MIT. We have distinguished lectures given. We believe that the lectures that we have in metallurgy, they are not available even in English. And it's given by a professor at Toyota Institute. Every August, we get inundated by thousands of requests for application to our college or our university. But we don't have university. But they are still insisting that they would like to come and just study. So I said, why not? Send the money. So we have to start a website to collect the money. No, we're thinking about that. We have to do something, especially with technologies happening now that just having a place is not just, it's not a mortar and bricks kind of place universities are. Now it's different with technology. With what we see like companies with open courseware and then with things like edX and the others, those are just, the education is really being transformed. We'll start soon about publishing at least some of those old books, and maybe with a translation on the opposite page of each one of them. And I'll show it to you now. Why did I came here all the way from New Jersey and just traveling all this distance? I'm here just asking, really seeking your ideas, suggestions, feedback, and collaboration. In what exactly? Nothing specific really in mind. But I'm seeking really, this is a great place for knowledge, and I would like to be close to you guys, that's all. And I wanna show you here that I'm done with the presentation. I wanna show you the website itself. This is the website, www.marefa.org. We believe it's probably Nayel is the only person here who knows that this young gentleman here, Dr. Al-Araji, and would like to show you as well our list of makhtutat, manuscripts. What we call really manuscripts are really all the books that are older than from 19th century and older. Some people call them old books, but anyhow, we have the books here. You can click on any one of them. Really interesting. We put some effort, not only just in electronic publishing of the book, but also getting a little bit of information just to entice people about how to get into the book. There are 25,000 of those. So, that's all. Thank you, really.
Okay, I would like to, again, thank our presenter, and also we'll now take questions. So, Mary Jane.
Thank you very much. That sounds like a very exciting project. So tell me, could you show us a little bit how you search this? I mean, we're sitting here, we've got your URL. How do we search for books, for articles, etc.? Do you have an index? How do we access this material?
Just type in whatever word you need. It will give you, we have quite a built-in search engine inside the website.
Can you show us?
Yeah, sure. What would you like to search?
Capital Congress. I don't know. Library of Alexandria.
Which one? The old or the new?
Alexandria.
Which one? Yeah, that's the old one. If you write Maktabat Congress by itself, Maktabat Alexandria by itself, it will give you the old one.
Okay, let's see.
But just a second, let me first you ask for the Maktabat Congress.
So it's you select the words. There aren't keywords, key search terms for the search.
Yeah, but
anything you want.
Anything you want, and just will get you either that word specifically or the closest thing to it. If it doesn't exist specifically as you mentioned, literally as you wrote it. Yeah, Library of Congress. We definitely need to say that we relied a lot on Wikipedia, English Wikipedia, on translating. We have heavy translation effort there. I was one of the very early developers or writers, Wikipedians in English, Japanese, and Arabic versions of it. But since my office mate was Richard Stallman, So he poisoned me enough not to like them. Richard Stallman is the guy, the founder of the Free Software Foundation, and who believes in just in GNU and all the free stuff there. And besides also that just unfortunately, Arab regimes, they try to turn anything into just, instead of writing about a real encyclopedia, you find their articles are just like a record of virility of each one of the royal family. He got married to so-and-so, he had children so-and-so, and that's it. Nothing even about what he did in his life, other than just getting married and give birth to those. Abdullah.
Follow up the search word, for example. You Google in English and you spell the word, it corrects itself. Is that happening in the Arabic version?
Yes, we'll get the closest thing to it, yes.
Is there a subscription that's required in the site? Or is it
Completely
completely free?
free.
So it's just like a
Completely free. Only thing that if you want to participate, edit something, you have to register. And registration is it's like 30-second process. Just you write your name and absolutely for free.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You talked about publishing the old books. Do you ever see yourself as a site to publish new works? You know, because a lot of authors are bypassing publishing the paper book now anyway. Do you?
We are open, yes. As a matter of fact, there are many people who come in and just with their new work, and they're asking to put it, but we don't put it. We can't name that an encyclopedia, and hence we have a sister project called Sources, and we can put those new books on that other website there. So I was mentioning before that just we have like 10 old books about the history of Somalia. And this is quite a unique view of Somalia because this is not written from an Italian or an English point of view. No, those are from Somali and from Arabic point of view. So there are many incidents, there are parts of the history that are covered there that are not covered by other sources.
I wanted to ask you about translation, the translations. You have this machine translation from, let's say, what languages into Arabic, and you have the other way around. You have translation of Arabic books into Arabic.
The other way around, it's much easier because there are lots of money that was spent by various governmental agencies in Washington, D.C. to develop machine translation from Arabic into English, for example. But nothing, zero, zilch, into the machine translation from Arabic, from English into Arabic. So because of that, we are doing that. We're trying to convince people to do it, and that's why we're doing this curriculum in Algiers. And we would love you guys to take part of that. That would be a great honor for us to participate in that. At least your name definitely would be important for it.
Do you have an actual translator on the site?
We didn't put it on public, but I can show it to you separate because it's not really that reliable yet at all.
Because most of the ones I've used have not been reliable.
But I agree with you. I agree with you. So that's why we need to work on it furthermore. And would like to discuss that.
See, I have another question because you didn't mention it, and so I wonder if your projects or firm are working on OCR, because as a librarian at librarian meetings, we're constantly importuned by commercial products that, we're at 99.99%, when they're actually at about 79.8% in OCR, particularly of written Arabic. Have you done anything about that?
As just to be truthful, no, we haven't done anything on that because we're relying as well. There is quite a demand for that from lots of other people. So there is no point for us. We are not going to add much by our effort into it.
But considering the, shall we say, less than optimal results so far with OCR, do you see any?
There has to be, indeed, if you go through Google, you will find that there was one fiery discussion about that about 10 years ago that I had about that with one person who developed Sakhr. Sakhr was the most famous one for OCR, but unfortunately, everything stopped after that. Since Sakhr died, nothing came after that, unfortunately, at all.
As Marefa grows, do you see that you would actually go out to seek to find manuscripts to digitize and put up there?
I would love to say yes, but it's not. Remember, it's only His Majesty is funding it. So, and even if I say yes, probably my wife and kids would have some other ideas.
Because there's so much out there that, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I was reading with jealousy the effort that was done in Timbuktu like 6 or 7 years ago. And then I got really shocked and horrored earlier this year by what's going on in Timbuktu and those crazy people there going and just destroying those manuscripts there. But what can we do?
You both from Egypt. Do you find any objection or opposition from the librarians or from the country over there about your selection of the material?
I'm not selecting. I'm not selecting at all. I'm just, whatever I get, we put all of them with no selection whatsoever. But and despite of that, back to you to answer your question, they don't like it. Okay. I went to the Dar al-Kutub, which is the main library of Egypt, and I told them, look guys, I have 25,000 books here that all I want to give it to you as a gift. And we would like, and they said, what do you want in return? I said, nothing, just go and let's have a press release saying that. I just will give you, and that the two entities are friends. That's it. And he wouldn't do it. And then, with some pressure upon the head of that Dar al-Kutub, when they pressured him, said, oh, we don't want to collaborate with him. He has some books that are really, really nefarious and they are anti-religion. And what are those books? I was curious to know, because there are some books here about Ahmadiyya. So we have no selection whatsoever. So whatever is available, we put it, period. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I'm always asking, but I wanted to know, what is the focus of the collection? In other words, it's an encyclopedia, but it's an encyclopedia of what? I mean, is it a scientific encyclopedia? Is it one about ancient history? Is it an encyclopedia of modern?
It's a general encyclopedia. General encyclopedia for every aspect that whoever, we're trying to encourage people to come and write about anything you feel that you need. For example, we all read day before yesterday about the great advances that took place by developing a new kidney, artificial kidney, out of rat cells. This is really great. We would like to get the people in the Arab world out of the rut that they are stuck in. So we wrote a whole article. We translated several articles about that whole project, about how to go and how to take, how the whole project is going on, and to see that there is a whole new world, not just about the silly stuff that you guys are wasting your life and your countries in. Yes. We have editorial board that everything that gets written in less than 24 hours, it has to be reviewed. And that's one thing. And then there is one supervisory board that takes care of, overseeing the whole direction of the project. Absolutely, yes. Yes. But you see, I'm saying that and I'm giving you a straight face, but nevertheless, let me tell you, it may happen, but I don't see how. But nevertheless, it may happen that one or two things may slip through, especially when they go one very common thing that they go and write about, people who tend to like to write about their own villages. So there's no way to go and just to judge about the truthfulness of this thing about the villages. And sometimes you find that there is lots of fights going on about an article about a tiny, tiny village. And we have no way to, we want to make sure just that there is no use of foul language. And
What about art? Do you have art up on there?
absolutely, we have, as I mentioned, we have about 400,000 images. We have at least articles, at least about 3,000 or 4,000 artists from all around the world. Would like to show something. For example, they renovated the Rijks Museum in the Netherlands this week. What's his name? Hals? Frans Hals?
Yes, Francois.
See, I spelled it wrong. I spelled Franz, so they came back and said that there is Frans Hals. Is that, I don't know. Yep. So that answers the question if you mistype it, would it? Does that answer your question? Yes, ma'am.
So this is not just Arabic content, it's content that you're putting into Arabic.
Exactly, exactly.
And how did you say you were able to maneuver the copyright?
We're translating it. We're writing it on our own. We're not taking any text from another. We're not copying something from another copyrighted source and putting it here. Images that we take it from Wikipedia that are free of copyright. So that's all what we're doing.
So the 25,000 books that you got from Hyderabad,
Yes.
you scan them, digitize them, and put them on the web? Is that it?
There is a project called Digital Library of India. They did the great job. Raj had, they scanned them, and they gave it to me on a hard disk. Each page on a file, on a TIFF file. So it takes us for each book to go and to have all the TIFF files together using Irfan View and combine them together in one PDF file. Spend some time in just doing search on Google to see when this book was written first time, the history of publishing it, this kind of stuff. Read a little bit about it to entice the people and write one paragraph about it to entice people. So each book takes about between 1 and 2 hours to go and put it online, to digitally publish it. And we did that so far for about maybe 4,000 or 5,000 of those books.
So what happened to the printed version of the books? Where are they?
In India.
Still in India? Or they
Yes,
keep them?
in India. An interesting thing, by the way, when I took them from there, that million book project was really in full steam and everybody was quite excited about it. It was between the government of India, government of China, I think Library of Congress, and for a short period of time, Library of Alexandria was a minor partner there. They were quite excited about it. Now I go and visit that website, Digital Library of India, and all those books that was there, they are not existing anymore. The website is down. So it went into disuse. Library of Alexandria took the books and just they got funded for just going and putting them online and all this kind of stuff. And then they came back to the Million Book Project and they said, guess what, guys? We did our job. Give us the money. They said, okay, but where are the books? Oh, we can't show it to you. Why you can't show it to us? Because we have some problems with that. So you can see, you go to the website and you can, for Library of Alexandria, and you find those books that are from the 18th century and 19th century. And it shows you only the first 5 pages, which is, by the way, most of the time, the 5 pages, 4 of them are empty, 4 of them are blank. but nevertheless, and they said that if you want to read the rest, come over and visit us and sit down and read it. Read it on a computer, not a paper copy or anything. For God's sake, we are just, make it available. We are here just to disseminate information, not to play games with it. And that's it.
Okay, I have a question about the Hyderabad Library, because, of course, it's famous for the books and the production of books. But the library, it is reported, I've not been there, also holds things like Waqf documents, land-holding documents, other kinds of deeds that are not necessarily the administrative documents of the Nizam in the state, but some pious fellow establishes a mosque, and the Waqf document, comes to them. Are they making any attempt, because that's a tremendous source of societal history, are they making any attempts to digitize and make that available?
Absolutely. I'm really glad that you asked this question here. There are 2 parts of to that answer. The direct answer, no, they are not doing anything. And more important than that, let me tell you, since we were friends, and I still am a friend of Raj Reddy, they gave me this hard disk with all the 2 hard disks with 25,000 books in them. I became aware later on, I did some research and said, oh guys, not only in Hyderabad, I know that in Calcutta, there is in the College of Presidency there are some very valuable books. Some of the oldest published books, printed books, written in Arabic in medicine. That was in 1800s. And I won those. And they said, oh, yeah, sure, but that was like a year and a half after the first time. So by the time I came to that one here, I had to pay money just to make a copy. We called it at that time that those are expenses for making the copying. But things got deteriorated, unfortunately, fast. There is lack of communication between the central government, which I have all respect for in India and Delhi, and the local management of the Osmania University that takes care of all the archives. There is lack of trust between the 2 sides, and that's really hampering everything there. This is one thing. That whole situation reminds me of something closer to us in the Arab world, which is the Ottoman archives, Al-Archiv al-Uthmani. Up until now, when there are fights over deeds of land in Iraq, especially in northern Iraq and Mosul, for example, it's quite common that the 2 combatant sides or 2 competing claims, they travel to Istanbul, because all the deeds are kept in the Ottoman archive. I met with the people who are taking care of the Ottoman archive, people from Ersika, you may know them. People from Ersika are really nice people, but the problem with that whole region, we have something that just about red tape. So I convinced the people from the Million Book Project to donate 2 of their scanning stations to go to the Ottoman archive to do some work there. And for more than 9 months, they couldn't get a permission from the Turkish customs to let it in. Turkish customs were insisting, you have to tell us how much each one of those stations are. Said, they are coming for free. Said, no, we're not gonna let it in without knowing that how much they are. It took about 9 months. And by the end, the Indians took them back. And it was part of the Million Book Project that was run from here from Washington, D.C. So this is an example of just wasted effort there, or lost chance or opportunity.
Well, if there are no other questions, then we'll bring this to an end. And again, I want to thank our presenter for a very interesting presentation.
Thank you, Rita. I really appreciate it.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.